I realised.
What?
Last week was episode 100.
On the channel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you...
Well, this week we are declaring a shark-free zone. So our entire episode this week will be brought to you by our great mates at Winnett Civil Grading. Please make sure to check it out.
A few teams that were in it to win it this weekend.
Absolutely, but we're not going to do that.
No.
What we're going to do is we're going to start with a special top 10. It's a special episode.
A top 10?
Yeah,
a list?
So a list. So during the week, I put a tweet out that banged.
Of course.
Tweets. And I said, the NRL game is coming out.
Needs to be this realistic.
Needs to be realistic. And I said, what would make it realistic? And I found 25 funny ones. As you can probably hear, there's a fair storm in the background.
A Melbourne storm.
Yeah, I found 25 funny ones, and then I hit the thread after my tweets and found another 10. So here we go. So if the NRL and NRLW game is realistic, the following will happen. The Broncos pre-season won't be a beep test, it'll be a breath test. Nico Hines will disappear with 10 minutes to go.
In a close game.
Yep. It's impossible to record 100 run meters with Royce Hunt.
Yep.
That was me. Reggie the Rabbit punching kids minigame.
Ooh.
Yeah. Isaac Moses randomly gets coaches sacked for whatever reason.
Sweet.
The difficulty level, when it hits extreme, you have Casey Badger as your referee. For South fixtures, you're not allowed to select Allianz Stadium as your home team. Sweet Caroline plays randomly during the game. God. Danny Whiteley's head pops up halfway through game. And here we go. Number 10. When you're on the attack with the Knights, your controller stops working. Oh my God.
Oh, there's some good ones. That was a really, really good thread, that.
Look, here we go. I'm going to add an extra 2 because what the hey. Number 11. The game literally shuts down if you try and say Redcliffe when playing with the Dolphins.
Okay.
Very clever. And number 12. Cameron McInnes's face as Nintendo 64 graphics. It's the most fun I've ever had on Twitter.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah, it's time to get serious.
I'm actually crying.
I don't know how much of that's going to make it, but check Twitter for the full thing. Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, what also probably needs to happen in this game is some mid-season signings or some end-of-season signings.
Yep.
And we've had a couple this week, some pretty good ones. Reed Marnie hasn't been confirmed by the Cowboys yet.
I believe it has.
It has?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, earlier yesterday.
As far as I wasn't on Twitter yesterday. I was at the NBL one. Good fancy. But Reed Marnie to the Cowboys, I like that. I really like that move from the Cowboys. Losing Reece Robson obviously sucks for them, but Reed Marnie coming in, that little...
Yeah, a bit of us.
That bit of grub back.
Queenslander as well. I think fits him well. I think it's a good signing.
Yeah, good
Don't know what the Dogs are doing, but... yeah.
No, neither do I, because Toby Sexton's going to Catalan's Dragons.
Yeah, a good move for Catalans.
Yeah, and now they've lost their halfback and their hooker.
Yeah, imagine sitting first after Origin 2 and saying, you know what we're going to do? We're going to wrestle half our spine. I don't think this has ever been done before. Now, the talk is that Kurt Morin, I believe, is going to go into 9. He's a pretty handy player. I don't mind it.
Kurt Morin signed with the Titans.
Oh, well, I don't know what they're going to do. Bailey Hayward? It might be Bailey Hayward. Sorry. Again, a pretty handy player, not a bad option, but you got a number 9 and you didn't really need to move them both on. You only one to get Galvin in.
Maybe it was cap space.
I can only assume so. But in terms of who picked them up, look, Catalans have got a player who's going to do very, very well over there. Luke Keary's going to retire at the end of the year, opens up the spot for Sexton. That's pretty like for like, although Keary's had a much better career, but Sexton's on the rise. I like the pickup for the Cowboys. I think they've got a pretty darn good hooker there to replace Reece Robson. I just don't know what the Dogs are doing. Why blow it up? It was working oh so well, and the couple of losses they've had, and including the one this past weekend, Lachlan Galvin had a lot to do with, and I'm not singling him out, but
that was the thing. It was you left centre to right centre, you moved your left winger to right winger, and you moved your 5'8" to left centre to get Lachlan Galvin into the team.
Yep. Although for half an hour it was looking pretty good.
Yeah, but he hadn't done anything.
No.
That was like it was Matt Burton in the centres.
True.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Toby Sexton to kick out.
I don't know what you do with Zeri, but Burton Crichton centre pairing has literally won titles.
It has. Yeah, but Crichton was on the wing.
Yeah, true. Look,
Because Paul Momirovski was.
That's a scary thing.
I mean, Zeri on the wing.
But I don't know.
But then you put Marcelo Montoya and Kiraz have been awesome.
Yeah, I don't get sitting second, Terry.
And it would be so harsh now if they then turn around and drop Connor Tracy.
Yeah, he's been fantastic, especially the past month. I don't know what they're doing. Ultimately, they should have just waited to the end of the season to sign Galvin. And
yeah, I mean, sure, but they still would have had to lose these two players, but at least it wouldn't have been disruptive now.
That's the worry, because they were on track for something special in, let's be honest, a season to date that hasn't really been all that great in terms of teams pushing forward.
Because you have a look at, let's have a look at a couple of other players who have announced their signings elsewhere, right? Daly Cherry-Evans. He came out and said, I am leaving Manly, and the circus came around and Manly sort of went into a bubble.
Yep.
And everyone has been like, where's Cherry-Evans going? Where's Cherry-Evans? Cherry-Evans has shut that noise down and Manly is starting to go well.
Yep.
Right, so they've won a few in a row. They're back in the top 8. And that's because Daly Cherry-Evans is not answering anyone's questions. He doesn't have to answer to anyone. The only person that Daly Cherry-Evans has to answer to is himself.
Yep. And his wife. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how he's let it go. Like, that's how he's got Manly back on track. On the flip side, Jamal Fogarty said, I am leaving Canberra because I want a multi-year deal at a big, on the money that he deserves. Canberra offered him a 1-year deal, but he said, no, it has to be a couple of years. I've only got 2-3 years left in my career. He's got that deal at Manly, and then Jamal Fogarty and Canberra just shut the noise down.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that was it. And now they're top of the comp. Yep. And they're, like, if you have a look at their run home, they're probably going to run away with that minor premiership. Yeah,
undoubtedly, because Melbourne are probably too far back. I just don't understand. Dogs fans are starting to be like,
was it worth it?
3 weeks ago, we were sitting, or 4 weeks ago, we were sitting first and we're flying, and it was such a family club, and everyone was so like, the culture's this, and everyone loved each other. Now it's like, whoa, what'd you do that for? I guess we'll see.
Yeah, and the scary thing for them as well is that Canberra have still got 4 points guaranteed.
Yeah, in buys. But it's funny we mentioned Lachlan Galvin because he's been made a bit of a scapegoat.
He has.
I have some mixed thoughts on this, but we'll lead. He and Kyle Flanagan have been the whipping boys the past couple of weeks, fair to say. Somewhat unfairly in some circumstances. I also think fairly in others. What are your thoughts on the situation before I go on a rant?
My thoughts on these two players are completely separate.
Yep.
Right? So let's start with Galvin. Galvin has put the spotlight on himself with the way that him and his manager exiled himself out of the Tigers. Whether Galvin said half of that stuff, all of that stuff, or none of that stuff about benching the Tigers on the way out, it still made its way to the media, so he's going to get scrutinised. If it had just come up that said Lachlan Galvin was leaving and then he left, you probably wouldn't get this pressure that's on him now, right? For the record, and you can go and check this out on Twitter, I'm not a big Lachlan Galvin fan. I don't see it. People like Joey Johns and all that saying, he's the most special teenage player that we've seen coming through. No. There have been teenagers that have debuted that have looked way better than Lachlan Galvin.
Luke Brooks.
Yeah. So, no. Like, I'm not on the Galvin hype train. I don't see it. However, straight after the game, Buzz Rothfield puts a poll up, what's his rating out of 10? And it went 7.654. That's horrendous. Especially from someone like Buzz, who's supposed to be up there in the media, has got, a big platform. Whether you like him or loathe him, people follow him because he's a wanker.
Yeah.
But for him to do that because of his feud with Phil Gould is horrible for that kid.
Yeah, I agree.
What are your thoughts on that?
Look, if someone, I'm not saying I would because it's just not really the shit stir that I like to do. If someone like you or I'd put that poll up, everyone would have been like,
yes,
6, you idiot. It can't come from Buzz Rothfield. No. I agree. In terms of Galvin...
It can't come from any journalist in the media that's got some skin in it, whether you like them or loathe them.
Yeah, spot on. I agree with that. I also think it takes away from the fact that there are some very valid criticisms of Lachlan Galvin.
His defence?
I am a big fan.
His defence is terrible.
When he said he was going and the Tigers, it looked like the Tigers fumbled it at first. I was like, well, that's the Tigers. They just let their most promising kid go. I take that back. It's Fainu, and it's always been Fainu.
Yep.
I'm happy to cop that. I still think there's a tremendous footballer in Lachlan Galvin. I do think that he's brought a lot of this on himself, and he's got to cop it. But you can't have people like Buzz going in and going, it's your fault.
Yeah.
Because, again, like it or love it, or hate it, a lot of rugby league fans are pretty stupid.
Yep.
And they see someone waving a flag and they're like, yeah, screw that guy. And they're on recording TikToks and stuff, death threats. We don't want that. Okay, Galvin's not playing well, just tweet. Just like Galvin's having a shocker, let it go. That's the end of it. With Kyle Flanagan, look, it's a fact that he's a coach's kid.
Can I also give my thoughts on Flanagan as well?
Yeah.
I don't believe he's had a bad season.
He's been fine.
Their forward pack has given him nothing. The last 6 or 7 weeks, wherever I think they've won one game in that time, and he was awesome in the game they won. But if you don't lay a platform for your halfback, and us as Sharks fans know that if your forwards don't go anywhere, halfback can't do anything.
Exactly.
And the fact that Kyle Flanagan has got a rookie next to him, they haven't been able to get that combination right. Lachlan, this wasn't it. We said it on this couch last year. Liking King Tongi is going to be a good player. They've got Daniel Atkinson coming in. Someone's going to partner Kyle Flanagan. But that doesn't matter because their forwards aren't going forward. Yeah. They're now starting to bring these young forwards in like Loco Pacificatonga. He looks really good going forward. David Clemmer had a really good game against Canberra. But you can't expect your halfback to be Nathan Cleary if your forwards are Broderick Wright.
Yeah.
That's literally it.
That's an old school one.
That is.
You're right. The fact is, he's the kid, he's the coach's son.
Yeah.
He's going to cop it. I didn't like... So you go your halfback. Cronulla fans do it.
Yeah.
Nico Hines played okay and gets lambasted because he's on $1 million. He's a halfback. I get it. It's lazy, but it is what it is. And to their credit, it's probably right. If your halfback's no good, they've got to be better. But people are just hammering Shane Flanagan in the post game.
Mm-hmm.
Like Clint Gutherson's had a pretty bad month. Last 2 weeks been very good, but the previous 2 were disgusting. They're not saying, geez, King Gutho, you brought him across, he's club captain, played plenty of Origins, probably not living up. They're going, your son's not very good. And he says, well, I think Kyle's playing well. And people that don't like Kyle Flanagan are like, you are going out of your way. No, he's just answering the questions. I think both have been unfairly targeted, but I do have to say, and some people aren't going to like this, they're first grade footballers on a lot of money who can't walk down the street without 20 people going, oh my God, that's Jack Bird. That's Kyle Flanagan. It's Lachlan Galvin. It comes with the territory. So you have to put up the shield. I don't think Lachlan Galvin's going to give 2 hoots whether Buzz Rothfield puts a poll up or not. I just don't think...
He's got 750,000 reasons why he doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't care. But the fact is, he shouldn't really need to. But they've got to cop the criticism too. Let's just find a middle ground.
Yeah.
But you said before, Kyle Flanagan, someone's going to partner him next year. Maybe not. Because Shane Flanagan came out and said they're chasing a marquee half, which says to me that Dan Atkinson's going to be like, wait a minute, I thought I was the marquee half. That says to me he doesn't see Kyle Flanagan as the marquee half. Daly Cherry Evans is off contract. I think he's a marquee half. What's he doing? What is Shane Flanagan doing?
I don't know. I think Shane Flanagan's probably looked at Daniel Atkinson and forgotten about him.
Maybe.
Forgot that he signed him. Is Atkinson the heir apparent to Clint Gutherson? Are they going to move Clint Gutherson into the centres? Are they going to... I don't know. But I think Shane Flanagan just says things because he knows that player agents will go to him and he'll get a cut price deal. Yeah. So...
We have to go to the Dragons. But let's stick with the Dragons. Tyrell Sloan. This kid, attacking-wise, is so good. Scored a ripper try. Set
so
a
fast.
Ripper try up. So quick, just like you just watch him and you think, God, how can they not pick him? And he can't catch and can't defend. He gets caught out of position and just you don't see him for 55 minutes. It's the Matt Duffy thing. He can score 4 tries and concede 5.
Yeah, someone in the Cronulla groups turned around and said, we should be targeting Tyrell Sloan for our fullback. If you don't like Will Kennedy's defence, you will hate Tyrell Sloan. The only thing that Tyrell Sloan has on Will Kennedy is pace.
A lot of pace.
It's a joke how much pace he has, but you are going to hate it. Yeah, his positional play is terrible.
Yeah.
And I know Will Kennedy's been pretty bad under the high ball recently, but to start the year, he was very good. His confidence is shot to pieces now.
Tyrell Sloan is not.
Yeah, Tyrell Sloan is not.
No, it's so annoying though, because you just watch these players do these magical things. You're like, if only. If this was the NFL and he was attack only, there'd be 16 clubs after him. unfortunately, you got to defend too, which is a shame. I don't like what Flanagan said. I think he's got to keep that in-house. He's also
what was the comment? I missed it.
That they're chasing a marquee half.
Oh, yeah.
That says to me, the bloke you signed on decent money, who, is promised a half spot by all reports, isn't a marquee player. Cole Flanagan's not a marquee player. Someone's going to be annoyed by this.
And you know what? You know who should be the most annoyed by that? Jacob Little, because he's the 14. Yeah. And if that means that Atkinson's coming in as the 14, Little's been awesome. He's been better than Cook.
Yeah, he has. Dragons are a mess.
Good.
It's fun.
Now, we talked about Daly Cherry Evans.
We did.
We talked about, is he going to go to the Dragons, the Roosters, whatever. But ever since he shut the noise down about where he's going to go, geez, Manly look good.
Real good.
Ever since Seabold made the correct decision to move Turbo from fullback to centre, and would you have a look, Turbo, named it right centre, scored a try from left centre this week.
He certainly did.
When he doesn't have to put all those miles from running and kick returns and everything like that, he's awesome.
He is very, very good.
Ever since he's made those correct coaching calls, geez, Manly look good.
They certainly do. Mm-hmm. It's funny you mention the centre though, because I think Turbo could be a rep centre. Mm-hmm. But we've had someone come out, and I can't remember exactly who it was. I think it might be Darryl Broman, but please don't quote me on that. Said he wants Marky Mark to play in the centres for Australia at the end of the year.
He's not even playing Origin.
Well, there's that. And there's the fact that, okay, I can see why you would watch. Again, it's the Tyrell Sloan thing. Mm-hmm. In attack, he is so good. Bloke can't read defensive line, can't catch despite being 8'6". Mm-hmm. He can't play for Australia. Because the Poms, who will have Herbie Farnworth and probably Kay Aliro in the centres, will tear them to shreds.
So listen, I put a tweet out just before the Origin series saying, geez, I hope New South Wales pick Mark Nawaqantiawase.
Yep.
No one understood why I wanted him picked.
Yeah, because Drew Collins.
I didn't want him picked because he's awesome. I wanted him picked because he can't tackle.
Yeah, now he's a very good player.
He's a great player.
He's an attacking genius. Yeah. He's so much fun to watch. But
when he got that ball 10 out yesterday, he had no right to score. Scored.
Just ran over 3 blokes right on half time. It was just, or before, just genius. Mm-hmm. But you can't be calling for players who score great tries and good on Supercoach to play rep teams when you got... Now, look, I don't know whether Samoan games have been confirmed yet. I think they're going to play Tonga and New Zealand in a tri-series. Wow, sign me up. Mm-hmm. But you obviously got Crichton in the centres and
Hammer. But Hammer plays for Australia at the moment.
Hammer
will be one, Latrell will be the other, Bradman Best will be the third.
Yeah, and then you got Turbo, who's playing pretty well in the centres. There's a lot of players ahead of him, so no. Speaking of the Kangaroos, you like this, I hate it. There's talk that they want Wayne Bennett to be the Kangaroos coach. I'm just going to cut to... No.
Why?
He's been terrible for 5 years. He's had all the... Now, I know Souths are down on players. Every team's down on players at the moment.
Yeah, look, we're a brand new team coming in.
They were.
And everyone thought they were going to get the wooden spoon, and he kept them away from the wooden spoon in the first year. And then they were up in the top 8, and they just ran out of depth.
Yeah, but is that what you want to do for what's supposed to be the most prestigious...
Do you think he's going to run out of depth for the Kangaroos? Do you think that the Kangaroos, when he gets there, are going to be in a relegation or a wooden spoon battle?
No, but I'm saying that
give Wayne Bennett the cream of the crop, they will win by 30.
Hey, look, you or I could coach this team to a win. Let's be honest.
Could Brad Fittler?
Well, maybe not. That was the best hope the English had. But my point is, this guy's like 80 or something. This isn't a long-term thing. We've got a World Cup coming up. A home World Cup too. You can't put him in there and have to change it in 2 years' time. This guy said he's going to retire like 5 years in a row. He keeps leaving clubs in absolute mayhem and has to go back to them years and years after. Meanwhile, the greatest player of all time, Cam Smith, said, I'm interested in this job. Get him in. Everyone's like, oh, he doesn't have any experience, blah, blah, blah. Meow got the job on the back of a disgusting run as Canberra coach. Like, I know he's got the Bears job now because he's earned it with the Queensland Australia stints. Brad Fittler got Origin on the back of a meme coaching career with the Roosters and all this. And people are like, oh, well, Cam Smith doesn't have this, but Billy Slater is okay. He's got the same amount of NRL games to his name. Cameron Smith is the greatest player I've ever seen. Top 3 at worst of all time. And people go, no, this guy doesn't understand the game. Get him in for the next 20 years.
Let me give you an alternative. Wayne Bennett takes over the Australian coaching, and you've got Cam Smith as his assistant. And then you can just slowly blood him in. The reason why I think this is a great move for the Kangaroos, though, is Wayne Bennett's been there before. He's done it. All right? He's won... I'm not sure if he was the coach in the 2000... He was the coach in the 2000 World Cup. I'm pretty sure Australia won that. He was the coach for the Kiwis, in the 2008 World Cup. Kiwis won that. He got England to a World Cup final in 2017, and they were a Josh Dugan ankle tap away from sending that game to Golden Point. Very, very good in the rep arena. He also won the unwinnable Origin Series in 2020.
Yeah, he's 105.
It doesn't matter if he's 105 or he's 107 or he's 37 or he's 50. If you can get Wayne Bennett out of an NRL club and have him full-time at Australia, he can't leave Australia in a bad state because Australia is Australia.
It is, but he's not going to leave South.
Well, I mean, it still doesn't matter.
He wanted to go. He wanted to go to New Guinea a couple of weeks ago.
But he was coaching in the NRL when he did it for New Zealand, and he's coaching the NRL and then flying to England to do it.
Yeah, but the NRL has said,
the greatest coach.
We don't want that happening, yet suddenly there's a push for Wayne Bennett. This guy hasn't been good for years. He's living on a very, very, very good history of coaching. There's no doubting he's the best ever at this stage. You know, Bellamy talked to me in a couple more years. But the fact is, you know, there's been Andrew Eddinghausen was a pretty good centre. What do we put him in the centres for Australia? It's the exact same thing.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
If you took Wayne Bennett out of his scenarios at the Dolphins and Souths now, take him out, he never existed there, and you put Ivan Cleary in, does Ivan Cleary do better? No.
I would say he couldn't have done worse at either.
Yeah, he couldn't have done worse. He wouldn't have done better. Do you think Bellamy would have done better?
Yes, I do.
Oh, I don't.
Undoubtedly.
If you have a look at the roster that the Dolphins started with, and then the second roster was good, but it had no depth, and then you have a look at what he's got at Souths.
Who created that roster though?
Not him.
No, it was literally him.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
They were recruiting before he was the coach.
Yeah, but the idea was he was always going to be the coach. Yeah. Who were the centres last?
Who built the Souths roster? Not him.
Well, pretty much he did. He bought a bloke.
You and Aiken, one player.
And Smith, who played 6 minutes before.
Yeah, that's not his fault.
Well,
he brought him midway.
He shouldn't have been on. Just another. But who were the centres last year for Melbourne in the grand final?
Oh, I can't even remember.
Exactly. That's my Craig Bellamy.
Jack Howarth and
Nick Meaney. Yeah, two superstars with heaps of rep games. Bellamy's a better coach. Give him the spot.
Yeah, but he don't want it.
Just go to Cameron Smith.
Yeah, go to Cameron. Dan.
Talk to me, Terry.
It's time for some tips.
Huge round of rugby league. Now,
before we get into the tips, we just want to give our heartfelt condolences out to Cam Munster, who lost his father over the weekend. Tragic circumstances.
Stuff. Good on Billy Slater, the way behind him. It's good to see, and of course,
everyone in the Queensland camp will be right behind Cam Munster, and it's going to be a great game on Wednesday night. So let's get into this. Origin, the decider.
Yep.
New South Wales now.
It's happened again, another decider.
Yeah. Now, what's the weather going to be like? Because it was disgraceful in Perth.
Yeah, well, it's always disgraceful in Perth.
Yeah.
It's Perth.
It's supposed
to be nice.
Okay.
It's supposed to be nice. Because I've checked Thursday.
We've got a bad thunderstorm.
Yeah, right now.
Actually.
But I think flat track, I think New South Wales are heavy favourites. But that hasn't counted for much in the past.
It does, it does. I like the move that Queensland made in bringing Hammer to fullback.
Yeah.
I really like that move. I think he's got a little bit more than Reece Walsh. He's always around the ball. He's quicker. He's a little bit more safer.
Fair enough.
This is a tough game to pick.
You have to tip Queensland.
No, I'll tip New South Wales. You tip Queensland.
Okay, I'll tip Queensland. Friday, but the biggest game.
Yeah. Friday night.
Another Origin contest. Dare I say bigger than Origin?
The Sharks will have no players backing up. Will the Dolphins have Hammer backing up? Who knows?
It's going to be hard.
They'll name him.
After. Yeah, they'll name him. 2 nights after, it's going to be hard.
I wish this game was in Perth.
Yeah, he wouldn't come back.
But look, the Sharks have got to find something. The Dolphins are scoring points for fun.
Yeah.
The Dolphins, if you can shut them down early, they can get frustrated. We have seen that.
Well, Newcastle beat them, so it should be...
Look, at home, you'd want to pick Cronulla to bounce back.
Yeah,
they've been pretty dreadful at home lately.
They've been terrible. Cronulla are awful.
We're going to be there.
Yeah, we are.
Wobble and Jaw Sports, our good mate Sam's coming down for this. Look, it's my daughter's birthday on the day.
Everything just screams Sharks.
Everything screams Dolphins by 50. So, every time I pick the Dolphins, they lose.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick the Dolphins.
Pick the Dolphins.
I'm going to pick the Dolphins.
I'll go the Dolphins too, just to double down. And Finns is spelt with an F, not a PH.
But 3 o'clock, Super Saturday. Is there a 1 o'clock NRLW game?
Yeah,
before? There will be. That's good.
Cronulla, I believe. But
Mate, look, I tell you what, we're getting lots of NRLW coverage. There was a hole in my heart for no 3 o'clock game, and then I turned on and realised there was NRLW. Yep. Geez, that Tegan Berry for St George.
Yeah, she's freak.
She's got to be close to the best player in the competition, if it's not Tamika Upton.
Right up there.
Yeah, she was really good. That Canberra team were coming back, and then she just went, no, not on my watch.
It's not happening.
I like the halfback from St George, McGregor. She was awesome as well. She was really good.
I missed that game, so I have to take your words.
Yeah, no, St George, like Canberra came home with a wet sail, 18-14, got it back to look like they were going to win, and then Tegan Berry just went, no.
Too much rugby league is not enough rugby league.
No, but Super Saturday, 3 o'clock, we start with the Knights hosting the Storm. Now, again, Origin players, who's going to be in, who's going to be out. We know there's no Fletcher Sharp. We know there's no Ponga for the rest of the season for Newcastle. I think if Queensland win, Cam Munster doesn't back up.
Yep.
I think if Queensland lose, it'd be 50-50 as to whether he's
I'm going to go out on an ledge here and say I don't care whether they back up or not. I think the Storm do the job. I think Newcastle are done. And Melbourne survived a real scare with all their players out against a better North Queensland.
And Ryan Pappenhausen as well with the calf injury that ruled him out. Now, apparently, if it was a semi-final, he could have played.
Yeah, I think the fact that they were missing everyone else to one extra.
It was a tight calf. And, a tight calf can lead to a calf strain, can lead to your Achilles. So Melbourne just went, don't worry about it. This is a free hit. If we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. And they won.
And
as Melbourne do. Week. And they will beat Newcastle. 5 o'clock, 5:30. The Dragons are hosting the Roosters.
Okay.
Now, the Roosters started off really slowly. And if ever there was a game where, you knew that their luck was just going to run out, that incredible drive, and they still nearly won.
They did.
They still nearly beat the Tigers.
Yeah, but Tigers.
Yes. Look, it doesn't matter. We lost the Tigers as well, so whatever.
Shut free zone.
Yep, sorry. The Dragons, I thought they were pretty good against Canberra.
Very good against Canberra.
I thought they were unlucky on a couple of calls. They were lucky on the Trey Mooney call as well, so let's leave it as it was. But I thought that was a much improved performance from the Dragons. If they can bring that effort against the Roosters, and again, it's going to be how many Roosters players are going to back up. I think 5 o'clock, you give them 3 days, they might be able to have a few backups, some extra minutes on the sideline for them.
Yep.
I just look at that Roosters team, there's too much talent.
Yeah, I want to tip against you, but the Roosters are...
Okay, I'll take the Dragons.
I think they got a wake-up call this past weekend against Tigers, and I think...
It's not as if I'm going, oh God, I'll just tip the Dragons, because I actually like what I saw from the Dragons against Canberra.
They were pretty good.
And
it's a fun game.
The Dragons haven't been bad lately.
No.
They haven't been... Yes, they're not winning games, but they haven't been bad.
It's hard to say that, but you're right.
I'll take the Dragons and whatever. And 7:30 up at Country Bank Stadium in North Queensland, the Cowboys are taking on the Bulldogs.
I'll let you tip first.
Bulldogs.
Cowboys then, absolutely. Scott Drinkwater, if that guy could stop making 7 errors a game, playing in the game.
He's so good.
He is, but he's so frustrating.
Yeah, really, really frustrating. But look, I think the Dogs have had their wake-up call. They're going to get, they had a couple of players out with Origin
they're
or whatever.
going to be screaming for a victory. Yeah. I wouldn't want to be the Cowboys this week, but I'm going to take it anyways.
Dearden, again, it's going to, for the Cowboys' chances, if Dearden plays, I like what I saw from Jake Clifford, though. He's been really good since coming back.
Isn't it funny they've won a lot since he came back?
Yep. And, they were a bee's whisker from beating Melbourne.
Absolutely.
So,
and Jackson Pachoo.
Yeah, in the centres. God, he's so quick.
Yeah, he is. So earlier in the year, and I'm going on this rant, Sam Stone Street got ran down by Purdue, who had a straight run, and Stone Street had to go round. Everyone's like, Stone Street's really slow. Maybe Purdue's just really, really, really fast.
Really quick as well, yeah.
Just want to get that out there.
We also have a Super Sunday.
Yes.
God, Rugby League just delivers. Because there will be an NRLW game before him.
You haven't seen the 6 o'clock game.
The 2 o'clock game has just got me going, Dan, because the Tigers, off the back of a good, gritty win, I think there were 6 losses in a row. They struggled it out against a red-hot Roosters team. They're going over to New Zealand to take on the Warriors.
Okay. They're there to be got.
Yes, the Warriors with no Metcalf, injuries galore. Now, it's not as if they don't have a handy backup partnership, because Tamari Martin will just go straight in halfback.
They've got to fill fullback, though. And again, Tuapiki.
Yeah, you got Tane Tuapiki. You got
Rogers pretty good at fullback. No, he's there. Chance is out for a couple of weeks.
Chance is out, so... you probably
they got the talent.
You just probably put Tuapiki in there as well. I liked what I saw from the Tigers. Not enough for me to go and tip them in New Zealand, so give me the Warriors.
Yeah, again, I have to take the Warriors.
Yeah. The 4 o'clock game, Parramatta versus Penrith. Now, sign me up. I almost want to go and watch this game. But then I realised it's in Parramatta, and it'll be full of Parramatta and Penrith fans. So I don't want to go and hang out with them.
Apart from that, though, it'd be
but
really
I will watch it on TV in the comfort of my house, probably texting you like a madman about what we're going to do on the show afterwards.
Yep.
And in that, I'm going to pick Penrith.
I'll go Parramatta. Dylan Brown might be back.
Well, he played last game.
Well, he'll definitely be back then.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Penrith are going to rest their stars, and I think they're going to kick Wooshka after this particular week. They'll probably win.
And then, so you said, what's bad about the 6 o'clock? Ah!
Yeah. Sorry.
Ugh.
Le Titans.
Yeah, the Titans are...
Say no more.
The Titans are... They're playing against the Broncos.
Yeah, Brisbane are pretty handy, but the Titans are in get Daz sacked immediately mode. Whether they mean to or not, they're just so bad.
Look,
I think he's gone on Monday morning. I think Broncos put 100 on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, maybe. I think... What do the Titans have to gain from sacking him now at the end of the year? If you know that you're going to have Brad Arthur come in or whoever it is that's going to come in, you might as well just bite the bullet, pay him out. It's your fault for giving him a guaranteed contract.
Yeah.
It's your
fault for hiring him.
On that, oh no, I think it was a pretty handy hiring at the time. Like when Des Hasler went there, people were like, yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
It's a low bar to clear, but fair enough.
You and I both said it wasn't bad on this show.
Yeah, but I didn't mean it.
Yeah. In saying that, though, you could not give me enough money to tip against the Broncos in this game.
Agreed.
So I'm going to take the Broncos. Everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws.
The 101st.
Yeah, it's fun not talking about the Sharks.
It was fun. Let's hope.
Let's do it again next week.
Yeah, let's hope that continues. But like, subscribe. See you on there. The game on Friday.
Now, after Origin, as I promised, we will have the reveal of what you can win if you like and subscribe. Do not hit me with that.
No, it could be the bat. It's not, but it could be.